This is a video for anyone that was interested in the 3 trick questions that I gave you in briefing this morning. I'm just going to explain them quickly. First of all, the first question was what is the probability of getting 3 tails for 3 coin flips? So conceptually, all you need to understand is that there are 3 coins that we are flipping, and each coin has a 50% chance of landing on tails. So each coin could be heads or tails, so that's a 50-50. We tend to use fractions when we're teaching probability because fractions are just way nicer to multiply, and I'll show you why. The best way to do this is a probability tree. So you could do your tree like this, and we'll say that this is tails and this is heads. So it's actually a 50% chance, or we could say half, but half is the same as like 50%, or what's the other way you can write it? 0.5 as a decimal, right? So pretty much the first coin being flipped is a 50% chance of being tails. It's half of the time it will land on tails. Then we get it's essentially a new coin, right? And then this new coin has a 50% chance of landing on tails. This whole pathway is irrelevant in this calculation. Irrelevant. Well, too bad I don't know how to spell. They could be spelled, right? So we don't actually care what happens after this because it's impossible to get 3 tails once you've already got a heads. So the only path we actually care about is this path that goes tails, tails, tails. So we're only caring about this path that goes T, T, T. And to work out probabilities, all you do is you just do half times half times half. And how you do that is when you're multiplying fractions, all you do is you multiply everything on the top and you multiply everything on the bottom. So 1 times 1 times 1 is 1, and then on the bottom we have 2 times 2 times 2. A lot of people went 2 times 2, and then they sort of went 2 plus 2 plus 2, I think may have been the biggest misconception. So this is 2 times 2 times 2, and that's 8. So 2 times 2 is 4, and then 4 times 2 is 8. So that's how we get 1 over 8. Okay, let's have a look at the next question that we got asked. Oop, I'm getting messages. Okay, so the next question was about pi. So whenever you have a circle and you divide it by its, so if you get the circumference of the circle and you divide it by its diameter, this is where the number pi comes out. So if you get circumference divided by, I'm just going to do a fraction, over diameter, the number that comes out is pi. Now pi is this crazy long number. Pi to million dp. Let's have a look at it. So pi actually just goes forever. 3.1415926 blah 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 blah, and it just goes forever. Pi is an irrational number. An irrational number just means that the number cannot be expressed as a fraction, right? So you cannot write this number as a fraction pi. So it means that this number has infinite decimal places, right? There are proofs for this, but I don't think that you guys would be at all interested in these proofs, right? They're pretty scary looking. You can look at, no, yeah, we'll just finish that one then. That's pretty much what you need to know. So it is infinite. There are infinitely many decimal places, and yeah, we've only ever seen as far as a computer is allowed to, able to calculate, but yeah, there are infinitely many. Okay, final one is bed mass. So we had that question, I think it was 6 divided by 2, and then it was 2 plus 1. So on the left here, you can see that there's rules for orders of operations. So if I'm going to work one of these things out, I need to follow these rules. So I've got to do the brackets first, then I've got to do any exponents, that just means to the power of, and then I do multiplication and division, and then I do addition and subtraction. The other thing to keep in mind is you have to go left to right. Okay, so let's do that. So there is a bracket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do each step at a time. So it's going to be 6 divided by 2, and then I will do what's inside the bracket. 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, then the next step is we've got to work out what it means when you have a number beside a bracket. What does this mean? It's actually multiplication. So I'm going to write that out fully. 6 divided by 2 times 3. This is what we have now. Now the thing is, in maths, division is actually at the same level as multiplication. So we're going to have to go left to right. So we're going to start with what's on the left. So we're going to do 6 divided by 2 first. Maybe I should do these fancy things for all of these, eh? And then this is actually saying that. Right, so 6 divided by 2 is 3, so we're going to end up with 3 times 3, and then we're going to end up with 9. So that's how we got 9 as the answer. Sometimes if you do it in your calculator though, a few people messaged me and said my calculator's showing me the wrong answer. So let's look at 6 divided by 2, and then 2 plus 1 in brackets. Let's see what the calculator does. What the heck? The answer 1 came out. But something else you got to realize is the calculator automatically assumed that I wanted brackets here. So the calculator is sort of doing like an autocorrect, like when you are, I don't know, doing a Word document or whatever. Right? So we don't actually want it to do that. So let's write it out again and just prove that it's actually right. So I'm going to write it out with this multiplication symbol in here. So now we get our correct answer of 9. And I hope that was helpful or mildly interesting. These were all trick questions. I wanted to trick you guys out on these. I did them. They were probably a little bit mean. All of these questions are quite philosophical, to be honest. So yeah,